Hello, good evening, all of you. So, in this lecture, we'll solve one problem relating to cost of debentures using the yield to method approach. Okay, we are going to calculate the cost of debentures using the yield to method approach. Right. So, what is meant by yield to maturity? So, what is the method? We shall have a brief discussion about this method. What is meant by yield to maturity? Okay, yield to maturity refers to the rate of return that will be earned by the debenture holder. That will be earned by the debenture holder. If he purchases the debenture today at market price and will sell the debenture at maturity, that is what the point. Okay, yield to maturity refers to the rate of return earned by the debenture holder or investor. You can say earned by the debenture holder or investor. In our case, it is debenture holder, normally investor. In our case, it is debenture holder, normally investor. Rate of return earned by the debenture holder or investor. Okay, if he purchases the debenture today, if he purchases the debenture or any other security today at current market price, and holds till maturity. This is what the point. Purchases today at current market price and holds till maturity. How much rate of return he will get to the debenture holder? We are talking about the debenture holder. Okay, so therefore we will calculate the yield to maturity for the debenture holder, and we will equate the yield to maturity of the debenture holder as a cost of debt to the company. Okay, what is the rate of return to the investors? Okay, rate of return to the investors is equal to cost of capital to the company. Cost of capital to the company. Rate of return to the investors is equal to cost of capital to the company. So therefore, yield to maturity to the debenture holder, is equal to cost of debentures to the company. Okay, yield to maturity to the debenture holder is equal to cost of debentures to the company. That is what the point. For me, it is a return. For you, it is a cost. Basic economics concept. Income of one person is nothing but the expenditure of another person. Income of one person is nothing but the expenditure of another person. Basic concept. So therefore, rate of return to the investor is equal to cost of capital to the company. Accordingly, yield to maturity to the debenture holder is equal to cost of debentures to the company. Okay, so therefore, entire our calculations we are going to calculate from the point of view of the investor, debenture holder. So debenture holder. Okay, so how to calculate the yield to maturity? So yield to maturity can also be called as internal rate of return. Can also be called as IRR, internal rate of return. Yield to maturity can also be called as internal rate of return. Okay, internal rate of return is the rate at which NPV is zero. Okay, at which NPV is zero. Therefore, for this cash flows, in the problem they have given some information relating to cash flows. For this cash flows, we will use some guess rate. Okay, that guess rate where the NPV is zero is the correct guess rate. We will use different guess rates at which rate the NPV becomes zero. That is nothing but IRR. That is nothing but yield to maturity. That is nothing but cost of debentures. Okay, we will use different guess rates. Cash flows they have given. So information is given to calculate the cash flows. Using this information, we'll calculate the cash flows. To that cash flows, we'll apply some guess rate. We'll apply different guess rates. So the guess rate at which the NPV becomes zero is nothing but internal rate of return, is nothing but yield to maturity, is nothing but cost of debentures. Okay, right. So first of all, we have to calculate the cash flows. Then we'll go for the guess rates. Right. So how many years are there? The problem is given 12 years. The problem is given for 12 years. Therefore, we have to use 12 years cash flows. 1, 2. Okay, second year, I'll use 12 years cash flows. 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. So for the 12th year, we have to use one more because the redemption price will be there. For the 12th year, redemption price will be there. Okay, for the 12th year, we can take only one figure only, right? So you can take 12 figures, your choice. 12th year, next. So here, initially zero. So therefore, here, what is this point? What is the amounts we'll get? So market price, purchase price. Remember, all NPV we are going to calculate from the point of view of debenture holders. A debenture holder is the person who purchased the debenture. A debenture holder is the person who purchases the debenture. Therefore, for him, it is outflow. For him, it is outflow. Okay, for him, it is outflow. Very important. Okay, so investor purchased the debenture at current market price. At current market price. What is the current market price? 96 rupees. Current market price is 96 rupees. Face value is rupees 100. Market price is rupees 96. Therefore, that 96 I have to take it as a negative. Remember that 96 is positive for the company. That 96 is the inflow to the company. But we are doing the calculations from the point of view of the debenture holder. We are doing the calculations from the point of view of the debenture holder. Therefore, for the debenture holder, it is an outflow. Remember, right? Current market price, company, debenture holder. So they will pay current market price. Current market price 96. So this is outflow. This is outflow to the debenture holders. Later on, company will pay interest. Company will pay interest to the debenture holders. This is inflow. For the company, it is inflow. For the company, current market price is inflow. For the company, current market price is inflow and interest is outflow. Okay, current market price is outflow to the debenture holders and inflow to the company. Whereas regular interest payments are outflow to the company and inflow to the debenture holders. So all our calculations are based on the debenture holders point of view. Yield to maturity or internal rate of return. To whom it is rate of return? For company, it is a cost of capital. To whom it is rate of return? It is rate of return to the investors. It is rate of return to the debenture holders. So therefore, I have to think from the debenture holders point of view. I have to think from the debenture holders point of view. From the debenture holder point of view, so it is an outflow. Current market price is an outflow and the interest is an inflow. Therefore, I'll take minus 96 and next every year interest. Every year interest. How much is the interest? How much is the interest? 100 rupees face value into 10% interest. On that interest, tax rate is 50%. Therefore, even though investor has received 10 rupees interest from the company, but he has to pay tax rate of 50%. He has to pay tax rate of 50%. Therefore, the net amount he will receive only 5 rupees. Okay, no doubt. Company will pay, okay, company will pay 10 rupees to the debenture holders. Sir, how I got the 10 rupees, sir? 100 rupees face value into 10%. I got the 10 rupees, sir. Thereafter, debenture holder has to pay to the government tax at the rate 5 rupees. 10 rupees income, 50% tax rate. 10 rupees income, 50% tax rate. 10 rupees income, 50% tax rate. Therefore, the net inflow he got is only 5 rupees. The net inflow he got is only 5 rupees. Though debenture holder has received 10 rupees from the company, he has paid 5 rupees tax to the government. Therefore, what he has retained is only 5 rupees. What he has retained is only 5 rupees. Okay, though the company has paid 100 rupees interest to the debenture holder, but the debenture holder has paid 50% tax rate to the government. So therefore, the net cash flow he has retained is 5 rupees. The net cash flow he has retained is 5 rupees. Therefore, how should I calculate ma 100 rupees face value into the rate of interest into 1 minus tax rate. Into 1 minus tax rate. What is the tax rate? 0.5. This is the gross inflow. This is the gross inflow. All years same. All years same. So till 11th year it is same. Till 11th year it is same. Till 11th year it is same. But for the 12th year, in addition to this cash flow, in addition to this cash flow, whatever the cash flows we have done, in addition to this cash flow, we will get something called as redemption price. We will get something called as redemption price. We will get something called as redemption price. This is the interest and we'll get something called as redemption price. What is the redemption price? Debentures are redeemable after 12 years at a premium of 12%. Debentures are redeemable after 12 years at a premium of 12%. Therefore, it will be 112. It will be 112. It will be 112. Therefore, 117. Total inflow is 117. Okay. This is what the point. Purchase price. Purchase price. So this is purchase price and this is a dividend. Purchase price and this is dividend. Sorry, interest, net interest. Net interest. So is equal to interest minus tax rate. In net interest, this net interest is 5 rupees. This net interest is 5 rupees. I'll take 5 rupees. Okay. And this is redemption price is 112. Redemption price I'll 12. Redemption price. Redemption price I'll take 112. Redemption price will be 112. It is also inflow. It is also inflow. So therefore, total I'll calculate. Total summation 96 same 5 and this will be 117. This will be 117. This is the total cash flows for during that year. Total cash flows during various years. This is total cash flows during various years. This is total cash flows. Okay, total cash flows, total cash flow. So cash flow during the year, cash flow for the year, cash flow for the year. This is cash flow for the year. This is cash flow for the year. Next, discount factor, discount factor, discount factor. So we have to use different guess rates of dividend. We have to use different guess rates of dividend. So what is the starting point to guess rate? We need some clue at least. Yes, we are ready to do some guesswork, but there should be some logic for the guesswork, and there should be some basis for the guesswork. There should be some basis for the guesswork. What should be the basis? The basis for guesswork is this coupon rate. Coupon rate is 10%. We'll start the discount rate using this coupon rate. Okay, discount factor at the rate 10%. Discount factor at the rate 10%. Okay, discount factor at the rate 10%. 1 divided by 1.10 to the power of year number. To the power of year number. I'll get this. I'll just get this discount factor. Okay, this is how I got the discount factor. This is how I got the discount factor. Okay, ma, right. Next, so you may ask, sir, how I got this discount rate? Very simple. You can do it 1 divided by 1.10 whole to the power of 1. Similarly, 1 divided by 1.10 whole square. Similarly, 1 divided by 1.10 whole cube. 1 divided by 1.10 whole cube. Okay, 1 divided by 1.10 whole cube, like that. 1 divided by 1.10 whole cube. Okay, you do that every year, discount factor you will get. Every year discount factor you will get 1 divided by 1.10 to the power of year. 1 divided by 1.10 to the power of year. That is the discount factor. Therefore, present value. This is the present value of cash flows. Okay, present value of cash flows. This cash flow for the year into this discount factor. Cash flow for the year into discount factor. Okay, cash flow for the year into discount factor. This is the total present value. Therefore, NPV will be this point. This is the NPV. Sum of all those figures. Okay, sum of all those figures is the NPV. Whatever we do all this point, this is the NPV. Okay, NPV is 26 minus 26.24. This is the NPV. Okay, and net present value. Net present value. Okay, net present value. Net present value NPV. Okay, NPV is 26.24. NPV is 26.24. So we want this NPV. What we are going to calculate is the yield to maturity. Yield to maturity is also known as internal rate of return. Internal rate of return is the rate at which the NPV is 0. So had this NPV is 0, our guess rate would have been correct. This is our guess rate. This is our guess rate. Okay, just we have tried. This is our guess rate. Our guess rate is wrong. Our guess rate is wrong. Sir, why, sir, our guess rate is wrong? Because NPV is not 0. If you get the NPV as 0, then our guess rate is correct. Then our guess rate is correct. Since the NPV is other than 0, our guess rate is not correct. Our guess rate is not correct. Now, what should I do? So, minus 26.24, I should bring it to 0. So, minus 26.24, I have to bring it to 0. That means I should add plus 26.24. Yes or no? So, minus 26.24 I have. So, I want 0. I want 0 means if I add 26.24, then I'll get. That means I have to add something. That means I have to increase. I have to increase the NPV. To get the NPV 0 means I have to increase by 26.24. Already 26.24 negative is there. In order to make it as 0 break even, I need to increase the NPV. What should I do to increase the NPV? To increase the NPV, I need to decrease the cost of capital or rate of return. Okay. So to increase the NPV, IRR yield to maturity or IRR should be decreased. Or IRR should be decreased. Our cost discount factor should be decreased. Okay, discount rate should be decreased. Okay, to increase the NPV, discount rate should be decreased. Okay, NPV and discount rate are inversely related. NPV and discount rate are inversely related. NPV and discount rate are inversely related. To increase the NPV, discount rate has to be decreased. Discount rate has to be decreased. NPV and discount rate are inversely related. To increase the NPV, discount rate has to be decreased. That is what the point. So therefore, I have to decrease this 10. First, I have tried with the guess rate of coupon rate. That is not worked. That has not given an NPV of 0. Therefore, what should I do? I have to try the second guess rate. I should try the second guess rate. So what should be the second guess rate? Whether the second guess rate is more than 10 or less than 10. That is the logic. 10 is not correct. Okay, we have to use the second guess rate. So how we can move from the 10? 10 is not the correct place. 10 is not the correct place. You have to move away from the 10. Then on which side? Then the question arises, which side we have to move? Whether the upside or downside. It depends upon this logic. It depends upon this analysis. It depends upon this analysis. So as per this analysis, I have to decrease the discount rate. I have to decrease the discount rate. Therefore, the same calculations I'll do it, but with a discount rate of, I can try with 8%, I can try with 7%. Okay, I can try with 9% also. But the problem is that if by 9%, if I cannot get a NPV 0, again I have to go to 8, again I have to go to 7, again I have to go to 6. That is the reason normally people will take 5% as the difference. People will take 5% difference, because if I try with 9%, still the NPV is negative, then again I have to go for 8%, again I have to go for 7%. So to avoid repetition of work, what we will do is that we'll take 5% as the difference. Normal, by convention, we'll do 5% difference. From 10%, I have decreased by 5%. If we started it here with 12%, it would be 7%. If we started here with 20%, it would be 15%. 5% will take. It's not that 5%. You can start one by one, 1%, 1%, 1%. It will take a lot of time. It will take a lot of time. So therefore, sudden in single stroke, we reduce it by 5%. So if I reduce it by 5%, same figures, the cash flows will not change. The cash flows will not change. If I I'll do it with 5%, the NPV will be positive, 10.68. NPV is positive. I have already explained how I got this rate. How I got this rate? 1 divided by 1.05 whole to the power of 1. Similarly, how I got this rate? 1 divided by 1.05 whole square. Discount rate. Discount rate for the third year, 1 divided by 1.05 whole cube. Discount rate for the third year. So like that you should get. Since I am having the Excel, I am using that. If you want to do it manually, you can do in this way. You can do in this way, the discount factors. So most probably in the examination, they may give the discount factors. If not, you have to calculate in this way. Okay, the NPV is 10.6%. Look at this. So I want to increase my NPV from 26.24 to 0. Okay, but I got 10.6. I don't want this 10.6 also. I want 0, somewhere in between this. So 0 is somewhere in between, yes or no? 0 is somewhere in between. I don't want 10. I don't want any positive. I want 0. That's it. I want 0. Yield to maturity or internal rate of return is 0. So therefore, we'll start with this point. What is the IRR? So what is the discount rate we have used? Discount rate we have used. First, we have used the discount rate of 10%. Okay. So first we have used the discount rate of 10%. I'll give for your comfort. I'm showing the screen. For your comfort, I'm showing the screen. You can go through the process. Same, nothing. Only discount factor we have to guess rate. We have to use the conceptual knowledge. What guess rate I should start? Start with the coupon rate. Start with the coupon rate of 10%. Then reduce by 5%. Then reduce by 5%. At the discount rate of 10%, what is the NPV? At the discount rate of 10%, what is the NPV? 26.24 is the NPV. At the discount rate of 10%, NPV is the 26.24. Leave one line and write it. At the discount rate of 5%, what is the NPV? 10.68. Now we want the NPV of 0. What is the discount rate at which NPV is 0? This is our question. This is our question. The most important question you are going to calculate is this point only. The most important question of the problem is this only. Okay. When the discount rate is 10%, NPV is 26.24. When the discount rate is 5%, NPV is 10.68. If I want NPV of 0, how much should be the discount rate? In between. I don't want positive also. I want 0 NPV. I want 0 NPV. Okay, what should I do? Very simple. Okay, just take out this point. Decrease in discount rate. Decrease in discount rate. How much discount rate we have decreased? How much discount rate we have decreased? We have decreased the discount rate by 5%. Decrease in discount rate 5% we have decreased. So because of that increase in NPV, how much NPV we have increased? How much NPV we have got? How much NPV we got? 36.93 is the increase in NPV. Sir, how I got 36.93? Minus 26 to plus 10.6. That means 36.93 is increased. Okay. Minus 26.24 is equal to 10.68. I have to add something. How much should I add to get the 10.68 positive? How much should I add to get the 10.68 positive? Take it as an X. X is equal to 10.68. Plus take out this 26.24 there. you will get minus 26.24. It will go to the right side. It will become plus 26.24. That is how we got 36.93. That is how we have got 36.93. Minus 26.4 should become 10.68. How much should I add? So I should add 36.93. Okay, this is how I have done. Next, so decrease when the discount rate is decreased from 10% to 5%. When the discount rate is decreased from 10% to 5%. When the discount rate is decreased from 10% to 5%, NPV is increased by from minus 26.24 to 10.68 positive. Therefore, increase in NPV is 36.93. This much increase I don't want. I don't want this much increase. How much increase I want? In order to make it as zero, if I increase by 2.6, 26.4, it's enough. Minus 26.24 plus X is equal to 0. I want 0. I don't want 10.68 positive also. I want 0. So in the guess rate, it is shown as a positive 10.68, but my requirement is not 10.68. 10.68 is the NPV thrown by the second guess rate. 10.68 is the NPV thrown by the second guess rate. But my requirement is not 10.68. My requirement is a 0. Therefore, second guess rate is also not correct. Therefore, what should I do? X is equal to 0 plus 26.24. That means I should increase NPV by only 26.24. Okay, required increase in NPV. Required increase in NPV. Required increase in NPV. How much I want? So already minus 26.24 is there. That I have to make it as 0. That means I should increase by 26.24. That means I have to put it as a minus. I have to required increase in NPV by 2.24. Next, therefore, required decrease in discount rate. Required decrease in discount rate. Required decrease. So if the discount rate is decreased by 5%, NPV is increased by 36.93. But I don't want this much of increase. I want only 26.24 increase. I want only 26.24 increase. How much required? How much discount rate I should increase? How much discount rate I should decrease? The reason is very simple. Do the cross multiplication. Do the cross multiplication. Do the cross multiplication. Okay, 26.24. Do the cross multiplication. How will you do the cross multiplication? Okay. How will you do the cross multiplication? 26.24, 26.24. Okay, 5 into 26.24 divided by 36.93. As simple as that, cross multiplication. 5 into 26.24 divided by 36.93. 5 into 26.24 divided by 36.93. Okay, right. So 5 into 26. This is how you will do the cross multiplication. Okay, 5 into 26.24 divided by 36.93. Cross multiplication will do it. Okay, or that is one way of mathematical way, but logical way is that out of this much of 36.93 increase, I want only 26.5 increase. Therefore, I want only 71%. Whatever present increase, out of that I want only 71%. Sufficient. I want only 71%. In this way also you can do it. In this way also you can do it. Okay, 26.24 divided by 36.93 into this 5%. Into this 5%. We'll get this 3 point something. We will get this 3 point something. 3.55. 3.55. Required decrease. This is not the yield to maturity. That is decrease. I have to decrease. Decrease from what? Decrease means you are moving down. You are moving down. From where you are moving down? From where you are moving down? This is my starting point. This is my starting point. Yes or no? That is my starting point. That is my starting point. Decrease means I have to move down. So from where I have to move down? From where I have to move down? I have to move down from my starting point. Okay, 10 minus 3.55%. Therefore, IRR is equal to, okay, therefore yield to maturity or IRR is equal to 10% minus 3.55% is equal to how much it will be? How much it will be? 10 minus 3.55%. It will be 6.45%. 6.45%. It will be 6.45%. It will be 6.45%. That is what the point. This is how we have to do it. This is how we have to do it. This is a logical way of doing it. So having done that, some students who are concept oriented, they are able to grasp this. They are able to grasp this. But some students who are not able to understand the logic of this, they will go by the formula. That's it. Okay. Those who are not able to understand this logic, they will go by the formula. So, but before doing the formula, at least once we have to do the conceptual. No doubt, for the examination sake, to save the time in the examination, go the formula, use the formula. But at least when you are learning the subject for the first time, go concept oriented. Don't use the formula. Look at nowhere I have used the formula, just logical way I have done it. Nowhere I have used the formula. But popularly, people will use some formula. I'll show you that formula. With formula also, you'll get the same rate. With formula, what is the formula for yield to maturity or IRR? Yield to maturity or IRR, what is the formula? lower rate divided by NPV at lower rate divided by NPV at lower rate minus NPV at higher rate into higher rate minus lower rate. Quickly you will get the answer. Quickly you will get the answer, but unconscious answer. Nobody is conscious of what you are doing. Okay, no doubt answer will get the quickly, but the people are very unconscious. They don't know what they are doing. Simply substituting the formula. I don't want that. I don't want that. So therefore, do it logically. You will get the same 6.4. What is the lower rate? 5% is the lower rate. What is the NPV at lower rate? 10.68. 10.68. What is the NPV at higher rate? Minus 26.24. Minus 26.24. Higher rate is 10%. Lower rate is 5%. That is equal to 5% plus 10.68. 5% plus 10.68 divided by 36.93 positive. Okay, into 5%. Into 5%. So you will get okay now. So therefore you will get 5% plus 10.68 into 36.93. Sorry, 10.68 divided by 36.93. 10.68 divided by 36.93. I got 0.289. 0.29 into 5%. Into 5% is equal to 5% plus 0.29 into 5. 0.29 into 5. How much we got? 1.45. 1.45 is equal to 6.45. We'll get the same answer. We'll get the same answer. Whether you use the formula or without using the formula, you'll get the same answer. But that is not the, we are not meant to remember the formula. It is the computers meant for remembering the formula, not we. Okay. So this is what, therefore, even if you use the traditional formula, you'll get the same answer. But you don't understand the logic. For the sake of understanding what is going on in the formula, so what, for the sake of critical thinking as to what is going on in the formula, you can do this analysis. Okay. So this is the conceptual way of solving the problem. So first we have to think that yield to maturity is from the investor's point of view. So you have to calculate the NPV for the investors. Whatever we have to calculate yield to maturity for the investors. What is yield to maturity for the investors is nothing but cost of capital to the company. What is yield to maturity to the investors is nothing but cost of capital to the company. Okay. What is yield to maturity to the investors is nothing but cost of capital to the company. Right. I think I have to decrease some more. Therefore, you'll get it. In the single screen, now you can see the answer in single screen. Now you can see the answer in single screen. Right. That is what the point. 6.45 is our answer. 6.45 is our answer. Okay, this is our main answer. Yield to maturity 6.45. Okay, I'll provide the solution of the soft copy. But before that, just go through this problem. No doubt, don't worry, I'll provide the solution for this soft copy of the solution for this problem. But just understand. So first, when you are learning the topic, don't use the formula. When you are learning the subject for the very first time, don't use the formula. So formulas are meant only for the quick solving the examination, not for understanding the subject, Okay, thank you.